Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. And remember, from now until the 15th of January, which is just days away, Bet Rivers is giving you a $10 bonus bet to use on any plus money parlay or bet. Enter the bonus code Francesa 26, Francesa, my name, 26, in your Bet Rivers app, and you'll instantly get $10 to use on a wager of plus 100 or longer odds. That code again is Francesa 26. Go to Bet Rivers, go to the Bet Rivers app, claim your bonus bet before January 15th. Must be 21, eligible customers only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, these are very busy times. They're going to continue to be, obviously, with the incredible number of coaches that are scurrying about in the NFL, as there are almost a record number of job openings. We could have a record number by the end of today. You have plenty of baseball players that still have to be signed. You have a lot going on in golf as Koepka returns, and there's talk of Rahm, of Cameron Smith, and DeChambeau returning. The PGA needs them all. They need the PGA. It's the best thing for everybody. I've been saying this all along. This has hurt golf dramatically. So there is a lot going on right now. Even a big St. John's game Saturday against Nova. And Nova right now, I'd say it's 1 UConn, 2 St. John's, 3 Nova in the Big East. And St. John's, right now, we're not going to talk a lot about them, but they've shown signs, and Patino is starting to figure out what is almost like a metrics board that he's going to have to play different people on different games against different opponents. That's basically what this comes down to. It's a very strange season that way, but we'll get to that later. We want to get to your emails. We've had a lot of requests to do an email show, and we've had a ton of emails stacked up. So let's get to some and get it done. Remember, send them to Mike Francesa Podcast at gmail.com. That's Mike Francesa Podcast at gmail.com. All right, Daryl starts us off. If Harbaugh doesn't want the Giant job, and you know now that Chris Mara told Ian O'Connor, who works for The Athletic, that he went and had lunch at Harbaugh's house. Okay. I'm just laying back here. There's no reason to call because listen, it's what Harbaugh is going to do, and Harbaugh's not going to tell me what he's going to do, obviously. I know Chris very well because Chris is a horse owner. He's at Saratoga every day. As a matter of fact, he sits next to my horse partner, Lee Einseidler, where Lee's box is a couple of rows back from me. These guys like to sit a little back underneath the overhang. I like to sit in the A row because I just have always sat there, been in the same box forever. And I like the crowd. I like the finish line. I like the sunshine. So I like the whole thing from that standpoint. But he's right next to my partner Lee's box. So I see Chris all the time. And now he's taking obviously a bigger role because of John's illness. We'll see where that takes us. Hey, you know what my gut is on this with Harbaugh? First, let me say this. I just have a feeling Harbaugh is going to take it. I don't know anything. I know the Giants are optimistic. I know it's going to be very expensive and that Harbaugh wants a lot of control. I don't know where it leaves Shane, into what kind of role it leaves Shane. I don't know. Harbaugh can pretty much say, I want the sky to be yellow and I want the, sun to be blue, and he's going to get it. I mean, he's going to get whatever he wants right now. So we'll see how that. Now, the question was from Daryl, if Harbaugh doesn't take the Giant job, if he scurries off to one of these other destinations, who is the best fit? I think they need an experienced head coach. I have hoped for Harbaugh the entire time. Ever since I heard rumblings about there being some trouble in Baltimore, which was about 2 months ago that we first started hearing that, I've had my eye on Harbaugh. So I don't really have a second candidate for you. I don't want them to hire a coordinator. Not that they might not land a great one in Shula or somebody like that, but they also might strike out. There is no guarantees ever. I don't think Mike Tomlin is a candidate, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't want Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin needs some time off. Let him go do TV, which he'll be very good at. I can tell you right now, he will be very, very good at it. Matter of fact, he could actually be really, really good at it, like where people are like, "Wow, I love Tomlin," because he's got a quirky personality and he's not afraid to say things. So, I think he has the right makeup to be a good TV guy. I don't know that he wants to do that. Cowell went there at a young age, and I don't Cowell left because his wife was very, very ill. Uh, the bottom line was he never went back. He went to TV, found a new lifestyle, and he's loved New York. He's loved traveling, and he's loved being on TV. So he found a whole nother. As John Madden always told me, hey, you'll go back to coach unless you find something that fills the void. The odds on that are rare. TV is a possibility. If TV fills the void, you don't go back. If TV doesn't fill the void, you go back. That's all there is to it. Most of them go back, let's be honest. The good ones, the ones who can go back at any time, they go back. Sean Payton went back. Why? Because he had opportunities. Harbaugh can go back at the snap of a finger. Um, I don't have I don't love McCarthy. I don't love Stefanski for the Giants. I love Harbaugh for the Giants. I'm on a one-track pony right now, that's it. I'm in the one line, you wanna call it a one-trick pony, a one-track pony, whatever you wanna call it. The bottom line is I have visions of Harbaugh coaching the Giants. Until that is denied, I don't have any other candidates, and I don't want anybody else. But if you're asking me, I will take an experienced head coach like a McCarthy over a coordinator. I do not want I think it's important. Now, I say that because I always use the idea that, hey, I want a guy who's gonna walk in the room and say, "Sit up straight, eyes straight ahead, and listen to what I say." Uh, a guy who's gonna be a little bit of a disciplinarian. The problem, though, is that's not McCarthy. McCarthy's a good coach, but he's a little soft. And as the players get a little away from him, I think it's a harder thing for him to manage them. He also is not a great in-game coach. He never has been. Not a great game manager. If you watch him, if he's run one of your teams, you know that he's not a great in-game guy. Some guys are really good in game. Okay, some guys are good at everything. If you go back to the days of Parcells, Gibbs, they were good. Walsh, they were good at everything. Everything. Sean Payton is good at everything. Sean Payton's not going to screw up. He might take a bold move, but he's not. He might take an aggressive stance, but he's not going to screw up. He knows exactly what's going on all the time. He's a really good game guy. I'm hoping they get Harbaugh. I don't. I think Harbaugh has a great interest in the Giants. I don't know what else he wants. Listen, if it's about money or lifestyle, Florida, Tennessee, no state income tax, much better lifestyle, then he would take one of those jobs. I don't think it's about that. I think the idea or the allure of the Giants is still strong. Harbaugh is his father was a coach. He comes from a steeped background. He grew up a Cleveland Browns fan. He grew up in the old NFL. The old NFL, they revered the Giants. I think he has that in him, that he understands the Giants' position in NFL things. We'll see what happens. Jeff, do you think Rob Saleh? Oh, Rob Saleh always comes up. Will get another head coaching job after what he's done with the Niner defense this year? Well, he's kept the defense afloat, but I think they've won almost all their games on offense. Their defense has not been good, but it's not his fault. They are decimated by injuries. I'm not blaming Saleh. I think Saleh is a good defensive coordinator. I think if Saleh becomes a head coach, and I'd say it's 60-40 against, they might run out of candidates and he might get a job. The team that hires Saleh will screw, and I don't want to be harmful here to him because I don't really know Saleh personally. I've never really spent any time with him. I don't even know if I've interviewed him. Um, the bottom line is, I have nothing against Saleh. He's not a good head coach. He's a bad head coach. He is the kind of guy who should stay a coordinator. North Turner's that guy. Rex Ryan's that guy. They should be coordinators. Their mentality is locked in to their unit. If your mentality is locked into your unit, you cannot be a great head coach. Saleh is not a head coach. He's a defensive coordinator. He hasn't learned that yet. Why? Because everybody wants to be a head coach. Everybody wants the power, the prestige, the chance to win a championship, the money, everything. Of course. Hey, you always, if you're in any organization, if you're in any occupation, you always aspire to the job. Well, being a head coach is the job. Everyone understands that. Nobody has a problem with anybody wanting to be a head coach. You guys have to understand. Spags is a perfect example. There are people talking about Spags. I love Spags. Spags is one of the great defensive coordinators of all time. He's not a head coach. He's not a head coach. North Turner, I love North Turner. I've loved him for 50 years, 40 years. A wonderful guy. Known him forever. He's a great coordinator. He's not a head coach. Jimmy is not a coordinator. Jimmy Johnson's a head coach. That's look at Jimmy Johnson right there. Look at North Turner right there. There's the classic head coach. There's the classic coordinator. Should be in the dictionary. Jimmy was a defensive coordinator. He was okay. He's a head coach. He's a leader. He's a psychologist. He's a motivator. It's what it takes to be a head coach. Parcells was a coordinator. He's a rare one. He's good at everything. There's some guys who are just great at everything. Parcells is one of those guys. Gibbs was one of those guys. They're just great at everything. Walsh was a little different in that he was above everything. He was a genius in football. One of the smartest football brains ever. No question. That's why he clashed with Paul Brown the way he did. Because Paul Brown is the all-time brain. And Walsh and Brown clashed for that reason. And Walsh always wanted Paul Brown's respect and love, and he hated that he didn't name Bill the head coach. Crushed Bill. Crushed him. I mean, completely crushed him. But he got his revenge, obviously. I think Saleh has a 40% chance to be a head coach, and he will fail. Hate to say it. Anthony, if Stafford wins the Super Bowl and he is named the MVP, where does he fall on the all-time quarterback list? I don't care, Anthony. Come on. I hate these lists. You know what? That'll set him up as a Hall of Fame quarterback. God bless him. to list guys A, B, 1, 2, 3, who cares? Like last night they were doing that with Rodgers. Hey, there's an all-time great group in that first bus. Are you in the first bus or you're not? You know, Montana, Brady, right? Go down the list. Rodgers, Peyton Manning. I can go down the list. They're in the first bus. Of course, driving that bus is Johnny Unitas, the father of modern football quarterbacking. Sitting right there in the first row next to Johnny, right there in that first row on the right is Peyton Manning, because he was the closest to Johnny. He even wanted to wear Johnny's shoes. The NFL wouldn't let him. He wanted to wear Johnny's black high tops as an homage, and the NFL said no. Just that shows you how the NFL has no sense of history. But I don't care about rankings. I really don't. Don, how does McVay rank among NFL head coaches? McVay right now, you can't put him ahead of Andy Reid on current NFL head coaches, but McVay already has a tree. Some guys do, some guys don't. Some guys don't have trees. They don't produce good coaches, and some guys produce great coaches, have great trees. Depends on the group. Okay? It just really depends on the group. Lombardi was such a singular force. He didn't have a great tree. Some guys do. Some guys don't. McVay does. And McVay's a top coach. I'd say right now it's Andy 1 because of his accomplishments, and then McVay. McVay is a tremendous, tremendous coach. I don't think there's any question about it. His halftime adjustments, his preparation, the way he runs the squad, the way he deals with the players, everything is top shelf. If you're looking for the prototypical you're looking at the prototypical coach in this era, it's McVay. There's no question about it. Peter, even if the Jets fired Aaron and Glenn, what coach would want to take on the Jets job? Listen, these jobs are special. There's always guys lined up from here to Canarsie to take the job. There's a million. Every guy who doesn't have a head coaching job will take the Jet head coaching job. That's just the way it is. I told you the jobs are precious. They're gold. They are precious. That happens. That goes without saying. That is absolutely the way it is. So, yes, they would take it. Now, I think a year from now, they are going to be in the same position. Unless there has been a big turnover inside the Jets, and Glenn he's still a head coach, but he's not making the decisions anymore because that staff needs incredible upgrading. And the whole entire organization needs a lot. The one guy on that team who could coach last year was a special teams coach. He could coach. He did a really good job. And he stuck out like a little blinking light because he was really, really a good coach. But if you look at his background and you look at who trained him, are you surprised that he's a good special teams coach? You're not. Bob, can you explain the Mets offseason? I cannot explain the way he is playing this hand. I understand that Stearns has a plan. I understand he has a conviction. I don't have a problem with either of those things. But he has now pushed it to the point where I don't know exactly how he's going to put a team together unless he thinks that his rookies are going to storm the field and and be here, there, and everywhere producing amazing numbers. I don't see how he gets the production he needs without some massive moves. And Every time a move is made, it's somebody else making it, not the Mets. Is this puzzling? Yes. Is it hard for Mets fans to take? I'm sure it is. I find it utterly fascinating. Listen, this very rich owner, the richest in the sport, one of the richest in all the sports, he has given Stearns the right to run the show. He's saying, you know what? It's yours until it's not yours. Now it's his. We knew he wasn't bringing Pete back. We knew that he wants a certain type of player. He wants a team that plays defense. He wants a team that relies on a great bullpen. He still obviously has his eye on a certain reliever. We know that. He wanted Diaz back. He messed that up by his own admission. He has a plan, but if his plan backfires as it did last year, then next year somebody else will be running the Mets. And Stearns will be a guy cashing a big check somewhere and trying to reclaim his baseball career as an executive because he will have failed miserably. The one thing I worry about, Stearns can look for grinders. He can look for defensive first and versatility. He can want versatility in his attack. He can want versatility in his lineup. He can want versatility in his roster. He can want roster maneuverability. He can want youth. He can want speed. He can want all those things. But one thing that Stearns has not showed me that he understands, and that is what it takes to perform and to win in this town. This town is not Milwaukee. This town is not like other towns. If you think it is, you will be sadly proven wrong. I don't know that Stearns has any grasp of that part. I think he has it designed for how he wants to build his baseball team, and he will sink or fail. Now, last year he sunk. He came into the season and we said, where are the starting pitchers? And you know what? In July, August, and September, he was saying to everybody in the press box or in the luxury box, where are all our starting pitchers? Because they didn't have any. They didn't have a guy who would give you 4 good innings. And it showed the team sank like a stone. And he was responsible for that mess. So if you're a Met fan and you're upset with him, I understand it. I'm just saying, hey, kick back. It's his show. See what happens. But I do worry. And the other thing I would say is this. That owner went and spent a fortune, a king's ransom for Soto because he wanted to fill that stadium. He didn't want to go there and see empty seats. He wanted to give those fans an experience. He gives them the best food in the sport. Going to Citi Field is a much better baseball experience than going to the Yankee Stadium. It's not even close. The Yankees have lost that completely. They don't realize that with their utter arrogance, but it is a much better day going to Citi Field than it is to go to Yankee Stadium. And I basically have cut my teeth since I was a little boy on Yankee Stadium. And I obviously go to both, but I like Citi Field so much better than Yankee Stadium. It's not even close. But this owner wants that stadium full. It was full last year. The Met fan responded. He wanted the Met fans to respond. The Met fan responded by look at the jack up in attendance that they had last year. It was enormous. That will not happen if he doesn't give them a reason to go other than Soto because they know Soto now. Soto is not enough to get them to fill that stadium if they're losing. They will have to be winning or they will have to give them some new toys. And right now he hasn't given them any toys. So I find it absolutely fascinating. And I can't wait to get down there and then go over to Port St. Lucie and see what the heck's going on, because I think it's gonna be fun. Chris, I'd like to hear you describe the history of your thoughts of the Montana Young era in San Francisco. With how great Montana was, why did they bring in Young? Ego. Quarterback, coach, ego. Just like you've seen with Brady and Belichick, you've seen it on a bigger version with Montana. Walsh didn't like hearing that he won because he had Montana. Montana didn't like hearing that he was the product of Walsh's offense. Walsh found a player that fascinated him, a left-handed quarterback who was a slingshotter, but accurate, but could run like the wind. So now he had these legs, and he could run that offense. And how about if I win big with him? And remember, I went to a Super Bowl where on the second play of the game, he threw a skinny post to Rice for a touchdown. And that was his first of 6 touchdown passes. And I felt happy for Steve because I've known him a long time. But Walsh loved it. Montana didn't. The word for all of that, Young was a tremendous Super Bowl winning quarterback. Walsh was one of the great coaches and offensive minds in history. Montana is the greatest Super Bowl quarterback of all time, and I believe the best. The only other postseason quarterback who can compare to him in terms of efficiency is Bart Starr. Ego is the only word for all of it. That's it. I'm the reason, you're the reason, I'm the reason, you're the reason, I'm the reason, you're the reason. Who's the reason? It's not enough to win. It's not enough to get the trophy. You got to get the I'm it trophy too. And that's a trophy that doesn't come standing up. It doesn't come with any, gold on it. It's just a belief that people have. I'm it. He's it. He's the reason. And Montana wanted to be the reason. And Walsh wanted to be the reason. And Young was the weapon. Todd, do you think Aaron Judge is getting frustrated not winning a World Series and with the team now being cheaper in the offseason? I think Aaron Judge is an incredibly unique player. He's so good it's scary. He's so big and good it's scarier. He is a great teammate. He is a generous teammate. He's almost an incredibly great player with very little ego. And I don't say he has no ego because I don't believe anybody who's that good has no ego. But I think he handles his ego very well, and he's a very generous teammate. I believe that he's becoming very frustrated. I don't know that. I don't think he'll express that. Now, I'm not telling you that Aaron Judge is above expressing his opinions because I know that's not the case. But he is a great teammate. And for a guy as good as he is, and let's be honest, he's better than everybody else. Nobody's as good as he is. He does not have an uncontrollable ego. He really doesn't. And most guys who play at that level do. So, and they play with a dominance and they play with a attitude that they strip the other player of who he is as a weapon. Jordan had the player beat before the game ever started. He wanted to emasculate the opponent before the game ever started. That was his game plan. Tiger Woods was the same way. And they believed that was the way to win. I'm going to take everything from you before the game even starts. So you're not a threat in any way. I'll just do what I want out here. And that's exactly what Tiger did, and that's exactly what, Michael did. Judge doesn't do that. Um, Paul, where does Aaron Rodgers go from here? To the couch. Or maybe to some game show. He seems to like game shows. If you're asking me, will he play football again? It would be seriously unwise. I think the only way he plays football again is this way. He likes playing football. He hasn't found something that fills the void. Now, otherwise you wouldn't be playing at 42 years old when you can't run. Aaron Aaron Rodgers is about less than 50% physically of what he was in his prime. Less than 50%. He can't move. Last night, there was a play he could have run for 25 yards. His eyes knew it, his brain knew it, his legs were like, "Don't even try it. Don't even don't even think about it." Okay? It's like now it's Christmas time and you say, "I'm gonna go up on a ladder and do that," and then you say to yourself, or I say to myself, "Don't even think about it." All right? Take that thought. I know the mind's willing. I know you still think that you could just jump up and run up that ladder and do that. Don't even think about it. And I think last night there was one play where Aaron had the whole right side wide open. And in the old days, he would have run for 25 yards and sprinted out of bounds. And he didn't move. He went to the ground. He actually went to the ground without anybody even touching him. Feet of clay. He's 42 years old. You're not supposed to be playing quarterback at 42 years old. You should go home. Now, what I would tell you is if a really good team loses their quarterback in December or late November, and they call up and say, Aaron, listen, all you got to do is manage this club. We got a great running back. We got a great this. We got a great offensive line. All you got to come in and do is just hand the ball off and we're going to win the Super Bowl. He might take it. We saw Rivers do it with 5 years off, and Rivers couldn't throw the ball. Aaron Rodgers can still throw the ball really well. That's the one thing he can still do. Rivers can't throw the ball a lick. Aaron Rodgers can still throw the ball. The problem is last night, perfect example. First of all, the biggest play in that game in my mind, there were two plays. One, before the strip sack, which obviously broke the game open. 3-0. He has Metcalf wide open down the right sideline, hits Metcalf in the hands, in stride, and Metcalf drops it. Now, Metcalf gets paid a lot of money. He's caused a big mess on that team in the last couple of weeks. And for him not to catch that ball is an absolute disgrace. If he caught that ball, I don't think he would have scored, but I think he would have gone 40, 45, somewhere between 40 and 50 yards on the play. He was 30 yards down the field when the ball hit his hands. There was nobody there. Then, after at 7-6, on second down, he throws the ball. They snap the ball when Stroud's not looking. Goes by him. Lucky that they recover it. Now it's 3rd and 15. 3rd and 15, and you can tell that Stroud, who has had a mess of a game to that point, he's had a bad connection with the center. He's just been off throwing the ball. He's been fumbling the ball. He only had 2 fumbles all year. He had 5 last night, lost a couple of them. And then he hits Kirk for 46 yards on 3rd and 15. Heartbreaker. Gut wrencher. Killer. Those 2 plays, the 3rd and 15 to Kirk, who killed them last night. He had 144 yards. The highest yardage that Kirk had this year in a game was 54 yards. He had 144 in the playoff game. Talk about picking up the slack. 144. That's shades of Chuck Messine. Go look it up. Packers, Chuck Messine. Go look it up. That play was an absolute killer. Killer. and so was the Metcalf, because they could have gone up 10-0. They could have gone up 10-0 in the game, and that would have been harder on the Texans, because the Texans' offense is very, very limited. And now, I tell you, this week, I don't know how Nico Collins plays. They carted him off with a severe concussion. I doubt he plays. So now Kirk, who has lived as a kinda unknown slot receiver this year, has gotta become a primetime guy for them next week against the Pats. But they're gonna win on the defense, or they're not gonna win at all anyway. That's basically it. So where is Aaron Rodgers gonna be to start the year next year? On his couch. Or maybe on Jeopardy again. Who knows? Let's play Jeopardy! I think he wants to be the host, though, so I don't know what's gonna happen there. It sounds like he wants to be a game show host. Aaron Rodgers is a pretty strange guy. He really is. But I'll tell you, in his prime, nobody better. No, you wanna tell me somebody was as good? I'll buy it. Nobody better. We'll see you later.